The numbers for the Sacramento housing market are out, and we are going to take a look at that here today. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel all about real estate. My name is Lewis, and in today's video, we are going to do a deep dive into the Sacramento housing market. Now, if you are new to the channel and you like all things finance, real estate, and investing, consider liking and subscribing to see more weekly videos just like this. Let's get right into it. The first chart up on the screen is the number of units for sale, sold, and pended in the Sacramento region. And to be clear, the Sacramento region in this chart is going to consist of 3 counties: Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado County. Now, the light green bar here represents the number of units for sale, which in January of 2022 is just over 1,100 units. The dark green bar represents the number of units sold, and this is specifically single-family homes. There's about 1,422 units sold in January. Now, the red line indicates the number of homes under contract to be sold, meaning a buyer has agreed to purchase them, and that number is 1,625 for January. So a couple things that I think are super important to pay attention to. We had record low inventory just 1 month ago at the end of 2021, and we are starting to see some more inventory, granted not very much, but we see a little bit more hitting the market. And this is a good sign that we are starting to see the number of homes for sale increase. It's going to mean that there is more opportunity for buyers in the marketplace. Now, if you go back a year, what's interesting is in January of 2021, we only had 1,000 units listed for sale. So inventory was actually lower 1 year ago than it is here today. So I thought that was really interesting. It's not by much. You're about 10% higher this year than you were last year, and 100 units is relatively marginal when you're looking at the entire 3 counties. But nonetheless, inventory is starting to move up, and I think that's a good sign. Okay, and the next chart up on the screen is the average price per square foot, one of my all-time favorite metrics. I think it's a good way to measure value in the marketplace, because if you know that the average price per square foot is $328 and you can purchase something for $300 a square foot, then you know that there is some sort of built-in value. But I want to bring your attention to a couple things on this chart. So as of last month, the average price per square foot was $328. In December of 2021, so just a month prior, we were actually slightly higher at $329 a square foot. If you look past the last year, the overall trend has gone up, but we did see a small softening in the market here for last month. That might be a good sign. We're starting to see a little bit more inventory hit the market, and we're starting to see prices maybe normalize slightly. All right, and the next chart is the average days on market and the sales price versus the original list price. So average days on market last month actually kicked up a little bit. So homes are taking slightly longer to sell. Took on average about 25 days, which is still very quick. That's inside of a month. But if you look at the trend over the last year, in January of 2021, it took about 23 days to get a home under contract and sold, whereas now we are up a little bit higher. It's a relatively marginal difference, but it just means that homes are taking a little bit longer to sell. They're taking about twice the amount of time as they were in the middle of 2021, where they were only taking about 12 days to put under contract. That is insanely fast. And matter of fact, I still think 25 days is really fast in this market. It's an indication that we're still in a very, very strong seller's market. Now, this green line here up at the top is the sales price versus the original list price. It's saying that the average homes are selling for 100% of the list price. So it means that in general, whatever the home is listed for is actually what that home is selling for. Next chart up on the screen shows the average sales price in the Sacramento region versus the average list price in the Sacramento region. So in January, we saw the average for sale price at $860,000, whereas the average sold price came in at $632,000. So if you look back over the last year, we actually saw prices sort of peak out around the middle of 2021 at about $647,000. So they have since gone down slightly, which is an indication that things may be normalizing slightly. That is a relatively small change. And if you look back over the year, the average price a year ago was $546,000. So we're still up about 14.5% from just 1 year ago. And then the last chart that I'd like to review with you here today is the month's worth of inventory inventory. So as of January, there is less than 1 month of inventory still. We're sitting at 0.8 months, which means that if nothing else hit the market, it would take less than a month to sell everything available on the open market. Now, here's what's interesting. Back in December, we only had about a half of a month. Now we have 0.8. So the level of inventory is kicking up slightly. That is a good thing. It's providing more opportunities to buyers in the marketplace. I'm curious to see if we see this trend continue into the spring. And if we do, are we going to get over 1 month's supply? You can see over the past year and a half here, we've always had under 1 month's supply in the Sacramento region. So very, very tight seller's market. In general, anything less than 3 months is what we consider a seller's market. 3 to 6 months is a neutral market, and anything 6 months and over is what we would consider a buyer's market. So market is still tight. It is very, very competitive, but the market is starting to show some signs that we might see some more inventory, and we have started to see some price normalization. All right, so that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's Sacramento market review. I hope you found the information useful. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section below. Would love to hear from you. But anyway, I think this is a good sign that the housing market is starting to soften just a little bit. It's obviously still going to be very competitive out there, but seeing a little bit more inventory come online, seeing prices come down just a little bit is a good sign if you are actively looking to purchase in this market. So anyway, if you haven't done so already, please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much.